state flag, honor the Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, guys. Real quickly, let's approve the signing of the minutes, of the minutes of the last meeting. Number 4, you all got them. I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
Motion to approve.
Made by Ed Minna, seconded by Shane. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's go to number 6. Discussion of possible action on litigation reserve.
Yes, sir. Board members, what we would like to do on our litigation reserve, we are down to about 23,000 is all that we have left in the budget item. We do have 914,000 in the reserve, so we're going to be pulling from the reserve. We still have August and September to be able to, to pay bills on that. So we want to continue the litigation reserve, and we'd like to bump it up so anything that we lose out of that reserve the next 2 months kind of takes care of it. So I'd like to bump it up if possible. We do have the monies. We are going to be returning monies to the entities about the same amount last year. This is above that, so we have this above that. About 300,000.
300,000.
Is this what you want to bump it up, or is that?
That's what I'd like to add to it, what's there now.
And that's that goes into the restricted account that doesn't.
It's strictly for litigation.
But it's something that you can maintain.
He's asking you where
Over.
Right.
From what account to what
maintain
account?
From year to year.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It comes from the overall
Anything
balance.
that's not spent will be carried
Okay,
over.
so I
to the
move
next year.
to move $300,000 from the litigation account to what account?
Well, from the budget,
From the budget to your litigation account.
reserve,
Exactly.
Okay.
litigation reserve.
So we don't run short in litigation reserve, especially now at the end of the year when we're about to. Any
Okay.
other questions? Need a motion to move? To
That was my motion. I move
Ed Minna makes the motion.
Second.
Second,
right here.
Alfred. Any discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have to elect Board of Electors now. So at the end of the day, we need money to be able to do that. Go ahead.
Okay, what we'd like to do, last year, the board allowed us to carry over, or to create a reserve for the Board of Elections, for the Board of Directors. We'd like to keep that reserve. This year coming up, with our budget starting October 1, we actually have a line item. At the end of this time next year, we'll take that amount of the line item, ask the board to add that to the reserve, and then we won't have to have it as a line item for the 2026, but we will cover, we'll have about $1.2 million to $1.3 million because remember they estimated, now we know it's not going to be that much, but we don't know. So we're asking that we just keep the reserve as it is, that we already created last year.
So from what account to what account?
No addition,
How
no.
much do you need?
From the budget to what's called the election reserve account. By the way, we will not have an independent election. This will be an election as part of another election.
So we have an election account now.
We have no
Yes.
choice.
We have one now, but we didn't put full amount. I think we put, what was it we put in there? I'm sorry, it's in the
It's
budget.
like $1 million. But we didn't use it.
I think it was $1.2 million. But I think the last amount was going to be like $750,000.
And that was when we were going to have to do it independently.
Right.
Hopefully, this will be part of another election,
It will
which will bring that
piggyback on
cost
somebody
way
else,
down.
right, okay.
But we don't want to be short. Go ahead, Walter.
I got it.
Is there any, and I don't know the reg, is there any possibility of a out of cycle election? See, if one of the elected
Yes.
is no longer serving, is there a time limit? Can we appoint? I don't know the rules.
What'll happen is, say for example, Ms. Jimenez, something happens and she has to resign. The board of directors for this current election cycle can appoint.
But how quickly do we have to have an election to replace her?
There is no election. You can appoint without an election. Yes.
If she resigns.
If
The
she
only
re-
election
yes.
we will
Okay.
have is the ones mandated by the
Right.
ordinance.
Now, what will happen with this reserve is if we find we don't need that, then the monies go back to the entities as the percentage of ratio that they pay into a budget, that money goes back to the entities. But being as we're not exactly sure, the city told us yesterday that for the city portion of this coming election, it's going to be like 2.4 million. And that's only for the city. We're the entire county. So we just want to make sure, but whatever monies don't, we will give back to the
Do you have a
entities.
number attached to it?
How much?
So currently in the reserve, we have 527,000, 886 and 7 cents.
And how much do you want it? You wanna
We
leave
want
it?
to just leave it there.
So all we're talking about is leaving the 500,000. It's already in there.
You-
So just as a contingency for the fact that we
Yeah,
might
just,
have an election.
just continue the.
So that you don't
encumbered
need a
fund.
motion then, if it's already there.
We do because it's not in the budget.
We just want to, well, no,
Oh.
we just want to let the board know to continue with, because it was done last year for the first time, we wanted to make sure the board had an opportunity to continue that litigation reserve.
It's
or
just an
that- I'm
affirmation.
sorry.
We're just affirming that
The-
it's there.
Okay, so
The election reserve.
How's the motion gonna read? I move
To keep the election reserve,
To affirm,
I move to affirm the $527,886 to stay in the
Election reserve.
election
reserve.
referred, election account.
is there a second to that motion? Second. Second to favor, Wallace. All in favor, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, building cabling.
okay, guys, remember a year ago when we came to the board to, we had to recable the entire building and rewire the building? And so we got a 3-year note to be able to do that, so we could do the entire building at one time instead of a floor a year, because it was going to be more cost effective. We have the funds in our contingency. We did not use a contingency this year, not even when we had the water pipe
Right.
bust, that, the insurance covered that. So we have money in the contingency. The balance due is $366,453 and 36 cents. If we pay it off now, we save 7.2% interest this year.
How much was that, what was that amount again?
366,453 and 36 cents.
366,000?
$453.
They redid the whole building yet?
We were making,
Holy shit.
yes.
But it's already been done. So the problem is, we
We
can
had
pay
to
it off
upgrade.
over time and lose $25,000, or we can pay it off
I
now,
was just gonna ask, what's the math?
or we can save $25,000 by paying it
Right,
up.
and currently in contingency, we have a little over 593,000. We wait to the end of the year in case something happens, that's our emergency fund.
Uh-huh.
Like when the pipe burst, but the insurance covered almost the whole thing. If the roof were to blow off, because we don't have a reserve for replacement, we don't have a savings that we could pull from. So that's why we wait to the end of the year, but we feel like if we took it out of the contingency, since we didn't spend it, we would save that 7.2% interest
Which is
for the next 2
Which
years.
is $25,000.
And
Right.
I
A little
suspect
bit less, it'd be about $20,000.
that with a zero-sum budget, it's probably a cleaner way to do this. to
Right.
try to- yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah, I
Do
would.
I hear a
I
motion,
would
so
support
we
that.
can discuss it?
Any
Is
discussion
there a
on that?
motion?
So moved, yeah. I'll
Okay,
move
thank
it.
you. Walter makes a motion that we go ahead and pay this off.
I'll-
Is there a
I'll-
second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? So all of this is something we already owe. It's just a matter of how do we want to
When are we
pay it.
paying this? At the end of the year, you said?
No, we'll pay it, now, since,
We'll pay it now?
we'll do it this
Okay.
month.
Saves us 20 grand over.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a no-brainer.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Review of our financials. I think we gotta do that, and that'll be the last thing we have to approve.
Good evening, Rosa Goldman, Chief Financial Officer. The financial statements, we are presenting only 1 month, the month of July. The financial report contains the balance sheet, report of revenues, expenditures, and changes in cash balance, the investment report, and the note to the financial report. And as the note states, we just have that one particular account that is over budget, which is still the building maintenance, and it's going to continue to be over budget for the rest of the fiscal year. It is $9,733 in addition to what was last month, and it is for the regular expenses of the month, the regular expenses that are already budgeted, plus we had to buy some ceiling tiles and the plumbing, some other additional plumbing. And as you can see right below, we still have the encumbered funds, like Dinah just talked about it. We have the litigation reserve for $914,227, and the Board of Directors election reserve for $527,886. For the litigation, as Dinah just mentioned, we are going to need to use from those monies for the month of August and September. because as of July 31st, we have on the regular line item only the, what is it, the 23,293, and most likely that particular expense is going to be higher than that. So we will need to take out of that 914,000 reserve. Any questions?
Any questions on the financials? This is just for the month of July.
Yes.
Seeing that there's no questions, is there any motion to accept them subject to audit? Shane moves to accept them subject to audit. Is there a second?
Second.
Walter seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you,
Thank
Rosa,
you.
as always.
Thank you, Rosa.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you guys.
We'll be out of here real quickly,
Bye, Shane.
but I appreciate you being here. All right. Report of our.
Wait. We have a executive session item, right?
Oh.
He has to go.
So we're not
We'll do
gonna
it later. We'll do it later. All right. So we're going to talk about our taxpayer liaison report. Tracy.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Tracy Carter, Taxpayer Liaison Officer. We did receive administrative complaint by Mr. Warbaugh. He was complaining because when he came in, he had filed his protest on time. He came in his protest hearing was set for June 26th. He came in on June 21st to ask for a reschedule, a postponement. ARB mentioned that he cannot postpone. So he decided to go ahead and do a written affidavit to represent him for his hearing on June 26th. So when Mr. Warbaugh called on August the 7th to find out what happened during his protest hearing, the CAD staff said, "I'm sorry, we did not hear it. It was not read into any hearing." So I did the investigation and found out, yes, it was not heard. And the reasoning was the ARB staff, when they accepted his affidavit, they did not change it to affidavit, or they did not leave a note stating this is going to be an affidavit. It was still sitting as in person. So I did speak to the ARB chairman, and he has agreed to rehear it on October 15th, and the property owner still wants to do it by written affidavit. And now I'm going to go into
Is that
the,
acceptable to the taxpayer?
I'm sorry?
So you're saying that that is an acceptable solution to the taxpayer,
Yes, he's going to have a hearing.
and he's okay with that?
He's okay with that,
That's all I wanted.
by written affidavit. It's going to represent him.
He may not be okay with the
He may not be
outcome,
okay
Yeah,
what
well, the outcome
happens,
we
but
can't
he's
talk about,
okay.
And then we may get another complaint
We
on
aren't
that.
talking about the outcome.
Correct.
All we're talking about is the process.
The process, yes. Okay.
And then we had a great year on ARB applications. The deadline for the application is September 30th. So far, we have received 36 applications. And I know we have a few more coming in. Right now, we currently have 22 ARB members scheduled for the year 2025. So we need to fill in 23 positions. And also, we need to get 5 alternates. So 15 of those applications from the 36, 15 are current ARB members looking for another term, to serve another term. 4 applications are from previous ARB members. That was part of the ARB before. And 17 are new applications. And what I would like to do, Tani, is if the ARB committee, if we can make a commitment to maybe come in at the beginning of October to meet so we can go through the process, how we're going to handle the interviews.
Why don't you do you have the names there of who's on the ARB committee?
It's Jackie York, Edward Mena, Alfred, I don't know, sorry, Edward Mena, Jackie
Sergio.
York, Sergio Coronado, and you're going to appoint someone else,
And Alfred Gonzalez.
Alfred Gonzalez.
So Ed, you are the chair. She's asking you to have a meeting on what day?
In October, the beginning, I was hoping maybe October the 4th, it's a Friday, or would you all prefer the beginning?
I'll call a meeting.
Okay.
You want me to call a meeting October 4th?
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
And the members are again?
It's Mrs. York,
Mrs. York?
Mr. Coronado, Mr.
Al,
Gonzalez,
right
and
next to you,
yourself.
Al. And Al, yeah, I got it.
What time, do you have a time?
It's whatever time, Mr. Mayor.
It's
But
good.
I'd like to be thinking of a time, Ed, so that you have exactly.
I'll call these, I'll call them and I'll get together with you and we can discuss the time
Okay.
frame.
So there will be a meeting on that day.
Will
can
you
put
be
it-
attending or no?
I'll be invited.
Yes.
Everybody will be invited, but I'll be invited, but it's your meeting.
Okay,
So you're gonna post it?
No, not everybody would be
that
invited
was my
because it's a
next
quorum.
question. That's
I was
Oh.
gonna say, do we need to post this?
that was my
now?
next question.
Yeah, we're not
Does
gonna
this need
do
a
a quorum.
72-hour posting?
It won't be a quorum, it'll only be 4 people. I won't be invited,
Yeah.
because if I.
No, you're not gonna show up then. I don't even want you there.
Will it be here
Mr. Mena, will,
Here at CAD?
Yes, it'll be here, right?
yes, yes, sir. And Mr. Mena, I'll have Ms. Carter email you the names and their email addresses and phone numbers of the people on the committee, so that you have that.
I just got Alfred's number. I have Sergio and I have Jackie's, but I don't have their emails. So I can send them an email.
So 2 out of the 3 people are elected, and 2 out of the 3 people have to approve. Those elected ones have got to approve. In fact, you may be an alternate on that committee, because 2 out of the 3
Melody?
have to approve.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You know,
So
Send
why
me-
don't I
send me your
appoint you as an alternate,
We'll do it right now.
okay?
Oh,
So
Thank
Melody's
you.
an-
And the ARB
They
will
have
be
to
in
If they
session.
don't vote on it, then the whole thing becomes no.
can I suggest, in the interest of transparency, that perhaps this meeting be posted?
Oh, okay.
I-
You said just saying you ought to post it, so everybody at least knows
That way, anybody that,
that it is a meeting.
it's, you know what? It's just to cover, you know, it's.
I agree
Yeah.
with
no
that.
reason not to
Let's,
post
let's
it.
post it. Let's go ahead and post it, Ms. Carter. 72 hours prior.
Okay,
Melody will be, she will be an alternate on that committee.
great.
Actually, 5.
great. Well, I want to
Still not a
mention
quorum.
that the ARB will be in session October 15th to the 18th to hear the late protests. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Any questions of Tracy? Thank you for what you do. All right,
Yes.
all yours.
Okay, well, number one, in August, we were at the International Association of Assessing Officers Conference, and we were awarded the Certificate of Excellence in Appraisal Administration, recertified for the second time, recertified. So that was a really good honor, and Mr. Haggerty and Mr. Berg were there with us to accept that.
Very nice.
We've given you kind of a Board of Directors nominations update. We have heard back from these are for the 5 appointed. We've heard from the City of El Paso, we've heard from El Paso ISD, we've heard from Isleta ISD, from Socorro ISD, and the Town of Horizon are the only entities we've heard back from to give us nominations. They have until October 15th. We have been sending out emails. They sent out an email last week to remind everybody. We'll be sending out another email the end of next week to say, okay, you got to let us know. But we basically have heard from only those 6 entities. But we are staying on top of that. Staff education and training is ongoing. Once the hearings are over, we start with education that's required. The property value study that is going to be happening for the 2024 property year. We've met the commercial staff from the Property Tax Assistant Division at the Comptroller's Office, came in and met with our staff to get started on the field review, and went out with our staff out in the field on the commercial. On the business personal property, the field reviewer from the state has requested information that we have sent. Residential, they have yet to start on that. That will be going on. We'll get a clerical error list by the end of the year, and then that'll be happening. Our maps review is not this year. We got the notice at the beginning of this year that we passed it 100%, but the information for the 2025 maps review will start going out to the state reviewers after the first of the year, so we're already getting ready for that. ISDs, reminder on the property value study. We're going to send out another email. We are not the agent for the school district. We're not going to protest the school district's loss of funding or anything. All we're doing is we have to, by law now, get permission from the school board of trustees to allow us to defend the appraisal district's values on the property value study. And then our board, this board will have to approve it. We've only received like 2 or 3. out of the 9 school districts. So hopefully we'll get more and we'll bring to the board in October for the board to approve those. And that's it.
So the next convention is the Texas State Convention of Assessing Officers. It's in Austin. I believe it's the second or third week in January. February. Think about it. Look at your calendars. I'd love you to go, man. It's a really eye-opening event to see where we stand versus other central appraisal districts throughout the state of Texas.
When is it? Again?
This is
February.
February.
It's usually around, what is that holiday?
Not during the Super Bowl, is it?
President's Day or something. No, they did that one year, and boy, they got yelled at.
It's not during the Super Bowl. I don't remember. But it's in Austin. It is in Austin. So Shane did go this time, Sergio went
Yeah.
last time. I think it's really worthwhile for you to really see
I'll
where
go
we
this time.
measure up, how we measure up
Sign me up.
against what's going on in the rest of the world.
I think it'd be nice for the elected folks.
Guys, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
It's 3 days out of your lives. We'll fly you there, we'll put you up, and we'll bring you back. So, and you get to meet our staff. Our staff, you know, David and I were talking before about why we do this. You've got a staff that is so dedicated to doing what's in the best interest of the citizens of this town that as an appointed individual, I'm telling you, you learn to appreciate the quality of the people that we've got working for us. And so I think it's really worthwhile for you to go.
We should have more information on that by the October board meeting, the dates, so that, and where it's going to be held, and that we can give that to the board members. We just need to know by first part of January, mid-January at the latest, because we want to get the early bird registration, and since it's in February. But we'll have some more information. It's a little early yet. They're still finalizing.
Will there be board turnover with the appointed, depending on
We don't know. It depends on,
Okay.
yes, sir. We'll know.
You are on this board till January.
January?
Yes, sir.
And so it's very important. We only have
January
2 more
1st.
meetings. For the next 2 meetings, it's really important that we get here. There are people who bust themselves to get here because they have other things to do. And like in case of Shane or Walter, we'll accommodate them, but we have to have a quorum at 5 o'clock to do that. So when we're late on starting, it really makes it hard on people who've dedicated themselves to be here. It's just out of mutual respect for each other that I beg you to try to be at our board meeting at 5 o'clock for the next 2 meetings. And then starting in January, it drops our quorum requirement down to 5. It'll make it a lot easier. But for right now, just to get through the year, we won't have a meeting in December. It's only for October and November. Please be here at 5 o'clock.
The November meeting will be the evaluation of your liaison officer and your chief appraiser. The October meeting, other than some, housekeeping on those 2 months, we'll be approving the vacation schedule, or the holiday schedule for next year. And Wardlaw and Associates will be doing a presentation. So there's not a lot. We can have a pretty reasonably length meeting. There won't be long meetings.
So at this meeting, we really needed to go into executive session. We could not, we will not. There's nothing we can discuss, but I'm just going to show you how important it is that we get a quorum, and that if we have a specific item that needs to be discussed in executive session, we can't even do it because we don't have a quorum. So we're going to wait until our next month, or if I see that it's more important, we'll call a special meeting so that we can discuss it. But I'm just trying to impress upon you how important it is to be here. And I appreciate the new people, all 3 of you are here. And thank you for showing up. You made the quorum, so how important is that? Any other discussion before the end of the meeting? Move to adjourn?
Moved.
Second? Thank you.
All right, guys.
Time is exactly